Hi, this is Doug Burks with Security Onion. In this short walkthrough, I'm going to be installing the brand new Security Onion 1204.3 ISO image in VMware Fusion. So I create a new virtual machine, I click Continue Without Disk, choose Disk Image. Now I browse to the file system location where I've downloaded the ISO image. You can see it's right there on my desktop. So we select that and we click Open. We click Continue. We verify that the operating system is set to Linux and the version is set to Ubuntu 64-bit. Click Continue. Now I want to change these default settings, so I click Customize Settings, give the new virtual machine a name, and click Save. So I go to the settings window and I click Processors and Memory. I want to increase from 1 processor core to 2 processor cores. And I also want to increase my RAM from 1 gigabyte to 3 gigabytes. Now if this were an actual enterprise production sensor, you likely would want to use much more than 3 gigabytes of RAM, but for this limited demo, just replaying some simple PCAPs, 3 gigabytes is sufficient. So we click Show All. Notice that we only have one network adapter. We really need one network adapter dedicated to management and one or more network adapters dedicated to sniffing. So let's add a network adapter and let's connect it to the VMnet 2 network. And now we've configured all of our settings, so we can close the settings window, go to Virtual Machine and Start. So VMware Fusion is going to boot from the ISO image, and we can press Enter to boot right into the live environment. In just a few seconds, the live environment will appear. So you'll see your standard Ubuntu desktop, and you'll see an install icon. Now installer is the standard Ubuntu installer, so if you've installed Ubuntu before, it's going to be the same series of steps that you're used to. So our desktop has appeared, and here's our install icon, so we double click that. And we click Continue, and Continue, and Continue, and Install Now. So we selected the default settings so that Ubuntu would partition and use the entire virtual hard drive inside of the virtual machine. It's now asking about our geographical location. It's using this for setting the time zone. It doesn't really matter what you set here, because once you've completed the Ubuntu installer and rebooted and you run through our Security Onion setup wizard, we're actually going to reset your time zone to UTC. We do this so that all of your sensors, regardless of their geographical location, regardless of their natural time zone, they're all going to be set to UTC so that all of their timestamps will always line up. So we accept the default and press Continue. We accept the default keyboard layout of English US and click Continue. And now we put in our name, and Ubuntu populates a computer name and a username. We'll just select the password and then confirm it. We do not want to log in automatically, and we do not want to encrypt our home folder. We click Continue. And Ubuntu is almost finished copying files. As soon as it's finished copying files, it will do some final hardware configuration. It'll install the grub bootloader to the hard drive. And then it will come back and say that everything is complete and we're ready to reboot. Once we've rebooted, we'll then be able to log in using the username and password that we specified in the Ubuntu installer just now. Once we've logged in, then we'll be able to go through the Security Onion setup wizard and configure our interfaces, configure our sensor processes, start things up, and actually start looking at some traffic. So as you can see here, the Ubuntu installer is just about done. It's doing the final hardware configuration. and installing the grub bootloader to the hard drive. Okay, so installation has finished. We're ready to restart. So we're going to be shutting down out of the live environment, rebooting into our brand new installation. So we'll be booting directly off of the hard drive. Then it will come up to a login prompt, and we'll log in using the username and password that we created just now in the Ubuntu installer. So we're logging in, and there's our desktop. So we've now completed the Ubuntu installation. Please stay tuned for future videos to cover the following steps of running the Security Onion Setup Wizard. Thanks.